is it, what is the difference between the large frame, medium frame, and small frame form, and why is there a large frame, medium frame, and small frame form? I don't think that feels powerful to me, at least.
Feels good. I mean, feels natural, or
feels natural, and it's powerful and effective. That's your Tai Chi, your bodily Chi, the corporeal Chi within you, going to Yin and going to Yang, and really let your body feel in the beginning sinking, and then floating all the way to floating, all the way to sinking, all the way to floating. So if you really let it do that, let it draw in, like that. Right. So you let the Chi of the outside drop through you and rises up to lift your hands. Go ahead and do that. Let it drop through you and go. So when you use the extracorporeal spiritual Chi, then what happens is that the natural flow of energy for that is about this big. Right? I'll point which way I'm going to make it go behind my back where you can't see me. So you push this into me like this, okay? Like that, and then push into me. Yeah, so that's E. But you see the motion is pretty small, right? It doesn't really move more than like the size of a baseball. It just if it's my wrist, it only just really moves this much. So pung is just this, and roll back is just this, and splitting is this, and plucking is this, and an is this, and so forth. It's just this little motion. Great Master Yang Ban Ho has this fast form where they really emphasize that, like that. And the motion pretty deep, pretty fast, but it really maximizes the yin and yang. All right, thanks for helping me with this discussion. This is another really fun question that somebody had, which is, what is the difference between the large frame, medium frame, and small frame form, and why is there a large frame, medium frame, and small frame form? I don't think you're that familiar with the terminology, are you? Yeah, so, because you're kind of new to Tai Chi per se. In Tai Chi, we have the form, and there's the one that we usually do. This is called the medium frame. And then the large frame is like this. Lower postures. Okay? And then small frames like this. Okay, so you understand what large, medium, and small means now. It's pretty obvious, right? But why are there large, medium, and small? A common answer is that the large frame trains the body, and the small frame is more like how you do applications, how you would use it in fighting. That's kind of true in the sense that a large frame will definitely train your body more, right? And when we're fighting, we're not going to get like this very much, right? So we're fighting, but then when we're fighting, if you punch me, I'm not like this, like that's not it either, right? So what is it really? So we have our 5 stages of internal skill training: fascia mastery, song mastery, Qi, Neijin, and Yi, right? These 5. The first 2, fascia and song, are just the way you use your body, okay? And then we start talking about our internal energies of Qi, Neijin, and Yi. This is the key. So in Qi mastery, we train the yin and yang of the energy in our body to have powerfully floating, powerfully sinking, right? And so if you let your body really sink all the way, okay, so let's put your feet aside. And so here, let's start with some floating. And if you sink and really sink, you'll sink down a certain amount, and then you can float back up, all the way up. So your body wants to go through a certain amount of motion. If we do ward off, this, right? Go ahead and do that. Yeah, and really let your body feel in the beginning, sinking, and then floating, all the way to floating, all the way to sinking, all the way to floating. So if you really let yourself experience the sinking and float, then your body wants to make a certain size motion. And that gives you the most powerful one. So go ahead and do it again. Go ahead. If I punch you, you could sink, go back and sink, and then float, like that. And that feels good to you, right? It feels, does that feel powerful to you? That feels powerful to me, at least.
Feels good. I mean, feels natural, or
feels natural, and it's powerful and effective. That's your Tai Chi, your bodily Chi, the corporeal Chi within you, going to Yin and going to Yang. And when you completely express that, it makes for motions that are pretty big. Does that make sense? And if you go like this, Yin and Yang like that, right? So I push upon you, you go Yin, and you really build up the Yang and let it go out like that. Yeah, turn your palm out on the Yang. Yin, Yang, like that. So the more you completely use the Yin and Yang of your bodily Chi, the bigger your frame is. Does that make sense? And Master, Great Master Yang Ban Ho has this fast form where they really emphasize that, like that. And the motion pretty deep, pretty fast, but it really maximizes the Yin and Yang. And you get a large frame and a fast frame in his case. Make sense? Kind of cool, right? So in the middle frame that you've been practicing, the 06 rose form is an example of a middle frame form. What do you think is happening then with your deductive skills, deductive reasoning powers?
I mean, the difference between the different frames and the medium one. So it's like it's halfway, it's a bridge between the large body, like the physical, to the more internal aspects of it.
Yes. So in the 06 rose, we are primarily concerned about, or our goal is to get to be familiar with the Neijin, which is the forces that are generated by the Qi that's outside of our body, by the spiritual Qi that's extracorporeal. So the Peng in that one is not just the floating Yang that rises through our body, within our body, but a sense the Qi outside of us floating up. And we looked at in our previous video about corporeal versus extracorporeal Qi, how they feel, how they look differently, and how they work differently. So if you allow the Qi inside of you to go all the way Yin and all the way Yang, you got this big motion, right? Now if you stand like this again, then we're going to do this word off now. So this is the Peng, right? You let the Qi of the outside drop through you and rises up to lift your hands. Go ahead and do that. Let it drop through you and go. How big does your body want to move?
I mean, just
like that, right?
This.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really get any bigger unless you just tell yourself that you want to go closer to them. But if you do, your legs will follow. So when you use the extracorporeal spiritual Qi, then what happens is that the natural flow of energy for that is about this big. Yeah. So again, I'm here like this, so go ahead and do that. Let it draw in. Yeah, like that. So that's also very powerful. It's not quite as like boom like that, but it's very effective. See? Yeah. The immediacy, the instantness with which it distorts my body, distorts my posture, is very quick, because the extracorporeal Qi right away affects my posture and my movement. Did that feel good to you?
It's like a tighter circle.
It's a tighter circle. Yeah. It just goes like that. So when you use the Neijin to do your Peng, to do your An, then you get this medium size. Does that make sense?
So it's like, range distance fighting, right? The larger frames for like closing the gap, bridging the gap. Is that correct or no?
You could do that, but the main difference is what is the energy that is powering your movement. So if you use a bodily Qi, you'll get a big movement. And if you use the Neijin that's on the outside, you'll get a smaller movement. Whether you're doing a rollback or the Neijin's rollback. The Neijin rollback is just like this. Does that make sense? So where did the small frame come from? Let's talk about that. So we talked about the Qi within us, the Qi that goes around us. And the next thing is E. So E is like, if you have your hand here and you're pushing into me, well, let's start over. You're pushing to me. So from here, if I build up the Qi inside of my Yin and then Yang, that's a bodily Qi, right? You're pushing to me right here. And then the Neijin, see? The Neijin, that's the Neijin's Ji that goes through, right? And you push into me, and then this is the E. So each one has a different mechanism and each one has a different effect. So let me demonstrate an E technique. So let's keep it all the same. So if you were to push me like this, so in the bodily Qi of the large frame, I have the Yin and then the Yang, and it goes out like that. So Yin, Yang. Okay, you push me again for the word off. So with the Neijin, then the Qi on the outside starts to float up, and we just right away start to move him. Okay, so come again. In E, what's going to happen is I feel his intention of pushing me on my hand, also his attempt to find my leverage, to find my center. I take those in 10 points, I drop into my elbow, and it starts to drop down. From there, I pass it back through him like that, and he just goes back like that. And so, what did you feel when that happens?
It's like the engine is like more compact.
Yeah.
And smaller?
It's very compact. So we're here, you push into me like this. So go and push. So he's threading me here, right? It goes doop, 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 like just like that. And it goes right back into him. So that was my ward off. And so you do it. I had to give you a crash course because we haven't done E-mastery with you just yet. Otherwise you won't be able to feel for yourself. So I'm pushing you here. You can feel my intent, my pressure right here. Take that and let it drop down to your elbow, kind of going down like, yeah. And then move that mouse cursor back into my body and back. Yeah. Don't worry about pushing with your body.
Oh,
just
so
really
right
just
here.
mentally, just let it go. Doom, doom. It's just a mouse cursor. So you can tell my mouse cursor is on you right here, and you drop. Yeah, like that. Okay. Yeah. Now try to put it back into me and go around in some direction. Don't tell me where. Okay. Not bad. Don't move your arm so much. Yeah. Okay. That's better. So here, push me. I'll show you. So we're here like this. I drop into myself. And then like that. So that's pretty interesting, right? I'll point which way I'm going to make him go behind my back where he can't see me. So he pushes into me like this, okay? Like that, and then push into me. Yeah, so that's E. So, well, behind the back baseball pitcher tricks or whatever. So so you see my hand barely move. Now put your hands up like you're doing a ward off, like before. And instead of thinking about the chi in your body moving, just think about your intent flowing to your elbow and back out through them to move them forward or move them to a side. Try that. Hands up. So make it go down and then go, and let your hand follow that to the extent that it wants to follow that. Yeah, so you're just moving this mouse cursor around and your hand follows it. But you see, the motion is pretty small, right? It doesn't really move more than like the size of a baseball. It just if it's my wrist, it only just really moves this much. So pung is just this, and roll back is just this, and splitting is this, and plucking is this, and an is this, and so forth. It's just this little motion. So
I can tell that this could be really amazing with like clashing with like weapons.
with weapons, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
It looks
yeah.
like that. It just looks like these small movements.
Yeah.
Right in this pocket.
Yeah, so imagine we have swords, go like this, right? We clash with swords. It's like,
Stabbed in the neck.
yeah. With weapons, it's a big deal. So yes, and in the era of the Yang family, when they went to the palace in Beijing, right, combat mostly meant weapons, and that's why their swordsmanship was so formidable, and their swordsmanship was very much based on their mastery of E. How the E manipulates the opponent's weapons to be deflected, to follow their weapon, and to stick, and all of that, while they have an opportunity to attack and win the battle. Does that make sense? So you see now then, since our hand only moves this much, the small frame form is only this much. The small frame form's footwork is not that small, okay? Because I still have to get close to you. I can't be like, I'm gonna get you. No, that makes no sense, right? So the stepping is about like this. It's like walking, okay, or like power walking, but the hand motion is small. So it's like my hands are here. Put your hands up, and I'm trying to get you to attack me. So I'm coming forward, coming back, and you attack me. So that's too far. That was too far for you to attack. That wouldn't even reach me. So there, now you can hit me, right? So you come in. I'm trying to get you to attack me, right? Yeah, lead you aside, and then so he's off balance. You see that, and then we can do something. So we're using regular-ish footwork, follow stepping, to get in and out of range. I want to lure you attack while a little bit, while I'm still safe, and then get this hand to my E of this hand to interact with the E of your hand to get your balance. And that's what the small frame is about. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So any questions?
In Tai Chi Chuan, do you always start larger going into the small, or do you ever break that sequence going small?
That's what people say. But basically, you've been training with me for like a year-ish now. So you know that we start with fascia. So you learn to not clash force on force. We learn to do song so that we're relaxed through all Tai Chi that makes your Qi work better. Then we do Qi mastery, the yin and yang within your body. So then the next one is the large frame. And then we do the Neijin, the Qi around you that moves our body and moves your opponent's body for the Peng Li Jian Chai Zhou Kao. So that gives you the medium frame. And then in a month or so, you're going to begin your E mastery. And when you do that, then we're going to do a lot of push-ins that's small like this. We push into me, you like this, and when I shift your contact point, and then back you go. It's just this little motion. It's like just doop, doop, off you go. So that gets to be really little. So you're going to progress naturally from large frame to middle frame to small frame, because the energy you use becomes more and more subtle. That creates smaller and smaller physical movements with big results. Does that make sense? That's why we have progression from large, medium to small, because the optimal way to master internal skill in Tai Chi is from the bodily Qi to the extracorporeal Qi to the intention, the E. And those create the three forms.
It seems like it's preserving the energy, the Qi from being spent on a battlefield.
From being spent, yeah. So if you use your body Qi, your body Qi is pretty good. It declines a bit with age, but you'll see, I've seen many masters in their 70s and 80s still able to go down and have powerful force. Especially in styles like Xingyi Liu Hui Chen and other styles like that, where they really emphasize that quality. I see them to be really strong legs, really powerful body and Qi, well into their old age. So that's very good. But the extracorporeal Qi, it's not even your Qi, it's not your health. It's just your awareness and your connection to the universe. So that doesn't really decline as you age, as long as you don't have like dementia. And then your intention, your E, that doesn't decline at all. I've seen, masters that as they pass their 80s, that when they get really older, right, that they not only do they preserve that skill, their skill of their E is actually getting better, even when they become like, they beat up their knees and ankle too much, and maybe not martial art training, maybe from the labor camps, the harsh political days of China or whatever, and they can't walk anymore, they're just sitting there or lying down, they can still do their E, and it's still very effective. So that does not decline with age. It actually gets better up until the moment that they leave this world. So
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's the skill that allows Tai Chi to be effective as a martial artist, as a fighter, into the very last moment of your physical life. So that's pretty cool. Great question. So
Cool.
thanks for helping me with
Thank
this. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.